Good afternoon, guys. This is Grant here. Just came on here to talk to y'all today. I'm on my way to work, as you can tell. But anyways, yesterday I had went to this town hall in my state senate district, and my senator Fred Love was there, along with state representative for District 79 Tara Shepard, and they were talking about voter turnout numbers from this past election in November and the primaries in May. Anyways, there were a lot of staggering numbers, and we found out that just a little over 2,000 people voted in the primary that ended up electing her for state representative for the area, since it was an open seat. She ran against the Justice of the Peace in the area that went on. Obviously, she lost. The Justice of the Peace lady lost to Tara Shepard. And anywho, only 2,000 people, just about, voted in that election. And just think this right now. Just know that each state representative district has about 30,000 people living in it. I know they're not all of voting age, but let's just keep that as the standard here so you can know where I'm coming from as to how low voter turnout is in that district. And in many districts in Arkansas, in fact. And just looking at even the governor results here in November, around 900,000 Arkansans voted, which equals to about 50.8%, considering we have about 1.8 million registered voters in Arkansas now. But that's about another million people that did not vote that could have voted. And that's not even including the hundreds of thousands of people that are eligible to vote and are of voting age and do not vote. So here we are having 900,000 people vote in the governor election when we have an eligible 1.8 million people. Okay, so then we go down to other races. I am looking at them now. So, like I said, around 2,000 people voted in the primary in May and District 79. And in November, only about 5,000 of the 30,000 residents voted in the election, in the general election, in which there was nobody but her on the ballot. No independent, no libertarian, no Republican, just a Democrat. And even in my race, when I ran for state representative in May, in my race, my opponent received 1,600 votes. I received 309 against an incumbent who had been in office for 12 years. So that's less than around 2,000 people voting in my district too, when literally there's 30,000 people living in each district. So let's just say that's a very small percentage, around maybe 18% of registered voters voting to pick the candidate to represent them, considering there was nobody running against the Democrat in that race either in November. And even in competitive races, I'm looking here in District 70, which includes North Little Rock area, I believe, Sherwood, somewhere in there. The Republican received 6,300, Democratic candidate right at 5,000, for an average of around 11,700 votes. Less than 11,000 people out of the 30,000 that live in that district voted. Let's go to District 67, which I believe is Sherwood for sure, and 9,800 voted in that election when there's 30,000 people living in the district. District 81 in the House, 8,600 voted in that election when there's 30,000 people living in the district. And then you go over to the state senate. District 1 only had a Republican on the ballot, no Democrat, no Libertarian or Independent, and 21,000. And okay, so these are different. State senate districts have about 90,000 people living in each district. Like I said, not all people are registered to vote or are of voting age, but let's just keep that in mind. 21,000 voted in that election when there are 90,000 people living there. District 2 had 26,000 people vote in that election when there's 90,000 people living there. And there was a Republican and Democrat on the ballot, so that was a little more competitive, but ultimately the Republican pulled it off with 17,000 votes to 8,000 votes for the Democrat. District 3 had only a Republican on the ballot, and 13,000 out of 90,000 people voted in that district. District 4 had 22,000 people vote in it when there's 90,000 people living there. And that one didn't have a Democrat on the ballot, but it had an independent candidate that received 4,600 votes to the Republican 17,000 votes. District 5 only had a Republican on the ballot, and only 23,000 out of 90,000 voted. District 6 in Hot Springs Village area had a Democrat and Republican, and 30,000 people voted in that election when there's 90,000 people living in that district. The Democrat got 9,300 votes to the Republicans' 21,000 votes. District 7 only had a Republican on the ballot with 23,000 voting out of 90,000 people living there. District 8 had 19,000 vote out of 90,000 people that lived there. 13,000 voted for the Democrat and 5,275 voted for the Libertarian. I'm not going to go continue on, but I'm just trying to point out to y'all that literally such a small number of people are voting in our elections, so they're not going to be representative of the people if a very small percentage of the people is making all of the decisions for us. So if you go back to those numbers, and I'm about to go back to the numbers really quick for a second just to point out one particular number. So keep this in mind in the election for governor. So this is 571,000 people voted for Sarah Huckabee Sanders when there are 1.8 million voters. So let's do the math here. 571,000 over 1.8 million people living here. That's around 32% of the people that are registered to vote voted for Sarah Huckabee Sanders to become our governor. So she only got, in that aspect, only 32% of the state decided she should be our governor. So you can't tell me that this is an extremist state and that's what we all support when only 32% of people are deciding our elections, and even less in other races. But this was a statewide race, so the dynamics are a little different. But I'm just saying, you already heard what I said about the 18% voting in my Democratic primary, and I don't even know what percent it was when only 2,000 people out of, I don't know the exact number of registered voters, so I can't do the math, but you see what I mean. Our problem in Arkansas isn't voter registration, because we literally have 1.8 million registered voters out of our estimated 3 million population. And yes, we could register more people, but that's not our problem. Our problem is getting this million people that did not go vote in November that was registered to vote to go out to the polls. So that's what our goal is here, is so we can get these people out to vote, because a million people sat on the sidelines and said, I'm just not going to vote this year, which led to us having the governor that we have now, and the extreme legislature who is literally banning books, making child labor legal again, attacking trans people nonstop, not even giving exceptions for rape and or incest in our abortion law. I mean, these are all extremist views, and even the law they passed, the budget cut they made last year, giving tax cuts to the richest Arkansans, meanwhile only sending the average working class person $100 added to their state taxes they got back this year. If you're wondering why you got more money back, it's because Arkansas had a big budget surplus last year, so they gave a tax cut, and most of that money went to wealthy Arkansans. I believe some of the farms that we have in Arkansas, like the farming industry, there were a bunch of wealthy farmers that got up to $1 million back in taxes. So we're rewarding the rich, but we only give $100 back to the working class. Yeah, and I can tell you right now, the majority of Arkansas is not wealthy. We're working class people. We're poor. We have one of the highest rates of child hunger in this country, among many other issues for that instance. So anyways, I just wanted to come on here and tell y'all today that we absolutely can do better, and we must, but we got to invest in races. We cannot keep continuing to have our candidates funded with minute amount of money. They're not going to be able to win. Unfortunately, the way politics is today is you got to have a good amount of money to be able to run a campaign, because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I know from experience in campaigning this past year, working on a couple different campaigns, different ways, whether it's delivering yard signs, knocking doors, whatever. You can't do it without volunteers, for one. You can't do it without money, because you got to have little business cards to give out to voters so they can know how to look you up, to find you, and those cost money. You have people that send out letters in the mail, and that costs money for postage or whatever. Then you have these other candidates that want to put out ads, and those cost money. You have candidates that want to use their money to get billboards, because those billboards advertise for your candidacy. And I had a billboard one time that cost me $40-something, but it only was on the screen for like 10 minutes. But I don't care. In my opinion, it was a good deal, and still put my name out there for $42. I'm just saying, y'all, these billboards are not cheap. They're a couple $1,000s actually for billboards. So I'm just saying, a lot of this advertisement and stuff like that costs money. And some of these candidates pay their volunteers, and that doesn't come free either. I saw candidates that were paying their people $15 an hour to volunteer. I'm just saying, people, need money to run campaigns. I was listening to this podcast yesterday, and they were talking about how 2 of our congressional candidates literally had like no money at all. So the Republicans skyrocketed to victory because there was really no opposition. I know there was candidates on the ballot, but they weren't advertised, so people didn't know as much about them. So they voted for the people they were familiar with, or just didn't bother to go vote because they thought that I don't know if they thought the Republican was just running unopposed. But I'm just saying, it costs money to run campaigns. I know you hate getting emails and texts, because I get them too, about please send me money. But unfortunately, big money in politics is a thing, and we have to realize it. And instead of putting all of your money towards the governor candidate, the Senate candidate, you need down ballot races are really, really important, especially in Arkansas, because we have right now, let me look at it right here. There's a spreadsheet that they gave out at the town hall yesterday. Okay, so right now in the Arkansas House of Representatives, we have 82 Republicans in the House and only 18 Democrats. And I don't know what the Senate is. I think I saw a picture of it yesterday. Let me look real quick. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. I thought I had it yesterday. Oh, lordy. Oh, that's why I'm on the wrong page. Okay, so in the Senate, I mean, it's not as bad, but it's pretty bad. We got 29 Republican senators in Arkansas and only 6 Democrats. So I'm just saying, these down ballot races are way more important than these Senate races and governor races. I know we want to have a governor better than Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and trust me, I did not vote for her, and I'm just saying. But I'm just saying, these smaller races, we need more balance than 82 Republicans, 18 Democrats in the House, and 29 Republicans and 6 Democrats in the Senate. Because what can we get done with that? Nothing really. Now, we did get one bill passed that was really good. My Democratic representative, Ashley Hudson, to help parenting teens and pregnant teens graduate high school. Now, that's wonderful. So there's a couple things we can get done, but we can't get a lot done with the way that we're divided, the chamber, in that aspect. So I just wanted to come on here today and let y'all know our problem isn't just registering voters. Our main problem is getting those registered voters to go vote, to be engaged, to stay engaged, and all of this stuff. But I gotta clock into work. It's time. Y'all have a good day.